Part 2 of our 5-part Kid Nation rewatch on Rob Has a Podcast is sponsored by our friends over at Echelon Fit, the evolution of fitness. Now, when it comes to getting or staying in shape, nothing feels as good as that feeling of accomplishment or hitting your fitness goals or feeling great about yourself. Of course, it's the new year. So many of us are trying to hit our fitness goals. Of course, that is very easy to do when you are in Bonanza City. Not too much to eat. The rest of us, a lot of junk food around. Important to try to eat right and then also get in shape. Echelon can get you there. Echelon offers the next generation of connected fitness bikes, fitness mirrors, rowing machines, and their Echelon Stride Smart Treadmill. No matter what your favorite fitness activity is, Echelon gives you a fun and challenging workout from the comfort of your home. The EX7S, that's Echelon's latest state-of-the-art innovation that takes cycling to the next level. The EX7S connected bike is built with performance, flexibility, and durability in mind. And the EX7S is the bike for competitors at heart. Their world-class instructors will motivate you with thousands of daily live and on-demand studio classes, always available when you need them. And unlike the competitors, Echelon is affordable for everyone. One membership lets up to 5 family members all work out at the same time. Right now, you can try the Echelon fitness equipment at your home for 30 days. Go to echelonfit.com/RHAP. That's ECHELON fit.com/RHAP. Coming to you live from Bonanza City, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here's a guy who knows a whole bunch of new ways to watch child endangerment. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to week 2 of the RHAP Rewind, our special series where we are going back and looking at some of your beloved reality TV series. All this month, we're going to be taking a look at Kid Nation. Last week, we kicked off the new year talking about the premiere of 2007's CBS reality series, Kid Nation. And today, we're going to be talking about episodes 2, 3, and 4 of Kid Nation. Of course, we are back with a man who, this was a very formative show. He watched it as an 8-year-old. He's going back as an adult to look at what happened in Bonanza City. Please welcome back Phil Thompson. Phil, how are you?
I'm doing well, Rob. I just got back from the saloon. Actually, I was just slamming down a couple of root beers. If I start slurring my words later on, just let you. I'm just letting you know that
beer. Who knows? We'll find out here today. All right. And then, wow, we are so lucky here today. It's like we've won a reward, and we are getting instant gratification here today on the podcast because we are going to be joined by the voice of the people. No, it's not Taylor from Kid Nation. It is Melissa Deni. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing great. I am so excited to be here to talk about Kid Nation. I am absolutely obsessed with that show. I've been talking it up for years, telling everyone they need to watch it. But I will say that when I heard that Phil was 8 years old when he saw it, I wanted to just about die. I was not 8 years old when I watched that. I was, 17 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's interesting is that
I want to die.
Yeah, right. It just keeps going on. I was, in my recollection of my time watching the show, I was like, I want to be on this show. Like, I want to be on this reality show. Like, I think I could do a great job at it.
Missed
blah,
the cutoff.
blah, blah. Well, here's the thing. And so, like, I literally researched, like, the application because they were applying for season 2 at the time. And then they like kind of called it all off after they just decided not to go forward with it. But at the time they were asking for applicants for season 2. And I like checked the rules of the applications and like went through all this like rigmarole to try and see if I could still apply, even though I was 17. And I could, I was just at the cutoff. I needed to be 16 because I think 16 was it. And I was like, gonna lie on my application. I was like, I need to be on this show. It sounds so bizarre. Like, I was like 17 and like now thinking back and I'm like, Melissa, you're 17. You did not need to be on that show. But like in my mind, I was like, this is the show. I need to get on it. I just wanted to be on some reality show that was like Big Brother. It couldn't be Big Brother because I wasn't old enough. Couldn't be Survivor because like that would be a nightmare for me. Couldn't be Kid Nation because I was too old. So I was like trying to like find a way to get on, and it did not happen. But I'm pretty sure I like mocked up my application and like almost sent it in, but then they like called it off.
Okay. Well, it was all worthwhile because you're here today to talk about Kid Nation.
It's all worth it.
Yes. Very excited. By any chance, if you missed our first episode, go to robhasawebsite.com/KidNation1 if you want to hear the first episode in this podcast series. You could hear Phil and I talk about the premiere. We are going to be doing this, dropping these every Friday here in the month of January here on RHAP Rewind. Phil, how has your week been?
My week has been all right.
Okay.
I've just kind of been quarantining, you know, just like everyone else, not doing anything, but having Kid Nation to look forward to and having this to talk about and being able to actually think about this has kind of, made the week go by. Melissa, I have a question, though. Like, do you think you would have been able to cut it on Kid Nation? I know you were 17, so, you're even older than Greg, but do you think you would have been all right?
I think I would have been great. I think I would have like taken charge and really like pulled my weight around. I mean, honestly, like I really would have loved to have been a merchant because that looks awesome to be able to like own. I mean, that would have been like literally my dream because when I was little, I used to go to this like California Discovery Center, like kids like museum or whatever, the children's museum, where they had a makeshift like town for the like kids, and you could work at a grocery store. And I would just like stay in that grocery store for hours and hours and hours and just like ring people up and then like go take the food back to the go backs that they didn't want. And like, I just stayed in there for hours. And so, I would be amazing at this. And my dream job when I was younger, besides being either a dog or a veterinarian, was a grocery bagger. Yeah. So like, I feel like I would have done amazing things with the general store and the saloon. I would have just really killed it.
Mm-hmm. You would have thrown every challenge to be in the merchant class.
Not a complete throw.
I'd be like, not a complete throw. Slowly.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of being, in the upper class? You don't do anything. Yeah, sure, you can like pitch in, but I mean, what else are you supposed to do? You're literally in the middle of nowhere in this like random Western set. Like, you might as well be a merchant.
Yeah.
Or a cook.
Yeah, you do get more
Taylor
money.
Was complaining.
You do get more money to spend at the store, of course.
Also, wait, I have a question though.
Yes.
Okay, you guys brought this up last time. So the laborers, the lower class, or the laborers, okay. Yeah. Then you have the cooks, and the laborers are all complaining that the cooks aren't washing the dishes. But then, what is the laborer's job then, if not to wash the dishes?
They clean
after
the latrines and they go get the water.
They go
but
get
the cooks. Okay, cook says you cook, right? Cook doesn't say cook and clean. It says you cook, and then the laborers should be the cleaners. So honestly, like we could justify Taylor's position, really.
I think it depends. If Taylor is, if Taylor is in charge of the cooks, then the cooks just cook, But if it's, like if the Green Party or whatever are the cooks, then, they can cook and clean. It really just depends on whatever the leader says. There's no rules in Kid Nation, and that's why it's great.
Okay. Let me just also set up, if you don't know what we're talking about, but you would like to join in or refresh your memory, these episodes are available up on YouTube. Somehow CBS has never got these taken down. You would think that they would, but they are still up on YouTube. You can go and find them very easily. Just type in Kid Nation into your YouTube search, and you can find all of the episodes. We are going to be talking about episodes 2, 3, and 4. I have never seen the series. I have not seen past episode number 4. So, Melissa, please try to refrain from spoiling me about the major events from Bonanza City that go beyond episode number 4.
This is my fourth rewatch.
Fourth rewatch. Oh my God.
My fourth watch. My third rewatch.
Yes. Melissa, did you watch Big Brother? Had you been watching Big Brother prior to Kid Nation, or was Kid Nation sort of like the gateway drug, which then got you to Big Brother?
Rob, please. I was 17 at the time. Big Brother came out in 2000, and I watched the first season when I was 10 years old. Don't you dare.
Yes. Okay. This has been a lifetime journey to get to this point.
Great Big Brother credentials.
Yes. Okay. Good. Look, I'm not a snob about like, hey, were you even watching then? Did you go back and watch? Yeah. So that I welcome all of the Big Brother fans. Okay. So let's talk about these episodes. Boy, these episodes, I was not expecting this, that they all deal with like a theme, and the themes get wilder and wilder as we go through. We're going to be talking first about episode 2, To Kill or Not to Kill, which is all about slaughtering the animals in Bonanza City. We really, every time I think that, boy, they cannot take worse care of these children. No, we're going to get them involved in, okay, kids, you're going to have to eat animals. And so get out the knives and the hatchets, because it's time to start to kill the animals on Kid Nation, 9-year-olds.
It's the best second episode, I think, ever, because it totally, like, in the beginning of the episode, it's like the perfect cold open where they recap the first episode in case, someone missed it. And then immediately they're like, we're hungry. There are these chickens. We have to kill the chickens, like, instantly. And so, it perfectly just like would pull anyone in. I think it's total shock value, and they totally just, go for, like, we see everything, but that's what makes it amazing.
Okay. So yes, Melissa.
I love Kid Nation. You know that. Don't get me wrong. But there is one thing about Kid Nation that I absolutely hate. And to be fair, this is a very large thing, which is that stupid Pioneer Journal that basically like forces them to confront some non-existent issue every week. First, you got the chicken thing, like you must kill someone or whatever. And then you've got like the religion thing, which is like, we need one religion in town. Like, you must confront this demon that's plagued us. And it's like, this is like not even relevant. All of a sudden we're making these kids talk about this stuff, which like, I would have loved it so much more if there wasn't this stupid fake journal. And instead it was like, okay, like let's just see what happens. Like, let's let these kids just like create their own society and like what happens. Like, I don't mind the whole like, okay, some people have to be cooked, some people have to be whatever. That's fine. But like forcing them to like, have a themed episode each time. Like, I'm not a fan of that. Like, they don't need to implement a curfew unless they want to. Like, it's more exciting to see them not do those things, like not implement a curfew and then see what happens. And then like, okay, how do we deal with this? But instead it's like, they initially confront them and say, you need a curfew. And then they're like, we don't want a curfew. And that's how the issues get created. It's like, that's my least favorite part.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with you, because not only do we have the journal, but also like it's very disingenuous to lie to the children like this, Phil. Like, these are little kids. You are lying to them. Like, this is beyond Santa Claus Tooth Fairy. This is like, okay, children, that if you want to survive, you're going to have to kill the animals that are there. Like, it's not only that we're endangering the children, we're also tricking them with this book.
But I don't know. It's like, it's pretty obvious that it was the producers writing it. And I think the kids even know it. Like, in the booklet, it'll be like, if you're reading this, it means you're already settled in. Or it'll be like, you brought chickens with you, right? Like, the book says that. And it's like, what pioneer like wrote this? Like, you brought chickens with you, right? Who is this for? I don't know. I think the kids kind of know like what, it's definitely the producers telling them. And I think, like, we're talking about how every single episode has like a certain structure or a certain, theme to it. And so I think that's kind of the imbalance of the show, where we kind of don't really know who it's for. Like, because, shows with like a theme every single week, that's like a kid's show, like Sesame Street or something like that. Like, today we're learning about religion. Today we're learning about killing chickens. But then, when we see the chicken slaughter, it's so like, it's a massacre. And it's like, are children actually supposed to be watching this? I don't know. It's like, it's a real imbalance, I'd say. Well,
I will say that we did get a disclaimer on the bottom of the screen before we get to the scene where the chickens are killed of like, hey, children that are watching this, please be aware. Phil, did your dad let you watch when they killed the chickens? Did they say, okay, well, you might have to leave the room for this?
I remember my mom made me leave the room when that happened. And I was like, but there's kids doing it right on the TV. Like, I don't understand.
It's for the best. All right. So they have some foodstuffs here. We saw a little bit of what they had last time. They have some pasta. We learned they have a lot of canned goods. And then the children are also in charge of opening up the cans. Bean Dad, he could have just sent his daughter to go to Kid Nation. They'd learn all about opening up cans, but the kids are very aware of we have no protein, and there is a little bit of a discussion of should we kill the chickens? What do you think? Taylor is very much in favor of time to eat the chickens.
Yeah, we get kind of like Taylor and Mike are definitely. Mike pisses me off sometimes because Mike is just like, we really need fresh meat. We can't just eat this canned stuff. We really got to have fresh. But like, Mike's not the one to be actually killing the chickens. He's, like thinking, oh, we got to have fresh meat. I wish we had chicken, but he's not actually doing anything to, get to actually, for the kids to actually eat the chicken. It's all Greg. It's Greg doing most of the work. Mike is kind of just sitting on the sideline.
We also, Melissa, meet a young woman named Emily. Really, this is kind of like the only time we see Emily over the course. Like, this is her arc of Emily. It comes from a family that she says she breeds horses. She's 9 somehow. She loves animals. She doesn't want anything bad to happen to the chickens.
I loved Emily when I watched this initially, and I love her still now. I think that is, they should absolutely not have killed those chickens at all. Like, I think that number one, like, that's less eggs that they get to eat. And number two, like, first of all, they've been there for 4 days. So, and they're like, we need fresh meat. It's like, no, you don't. Like, and I loved the argument that someone was like, vegetarians don't eat meat. And they're like, well, they eat other protein. It's like, well, yeah, you could eat other protein too. Like, okay. I just feel like it's like, okay, cool. So you kill a chicken and you think that one chicken or that 2 chicken, that's going to feed it all 40 of you for like the rest of the trip. Like, no, it's not. Like, it'll give you one meal and that poor chicken just lost its life. Like, I'm absolutely not in favor of this. This is one of my least favorite episodes of the entire show. And I think that they should not have encouraged this. And like, of course, Greg is like, I'll slaughter it. It's like, yeah, Greg, okay, we know you like want to like just wring its neck with your bare hands. We get it. But, this episode was not for me. I was not a fan of it at the time. Still not a fan of it now. It's tough to watch these kids just like, this is where it feels to me very Lord of the Fliesy, where they're like, like, yeah, like, kill it. It's like, oh my God, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, like, after, they do the whole reading thing, then they actually have a meeting where they like talk about, the chicken. And of course, like Greg is totally just like, I've slaughtered beef, I've slaughtered lamb, I've slaughtered all the stuff. And it sounds like, the most predictable thing that Greg has ever said. Like, of course, killer. If anyone's doing it,
he's Dexter. Yeah, he's done this all before. There's some talk of exactly how are they going to kill the chickens? They're going to hang him like they did to Saddam Hussein.
They're going to hang him like they did Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
It's so funny how seriously she said that. It's just like, oh my God, this little kid.
Yeah. There are some like odd like political references here.
They always talk about the Iraq War. Like, I guess that was like a huge deal at the time. Not that it's not a huge deal now, but just like, all the kids are mentioning it. It's like, why are you always bringing this up?
Yeah, totally like dates the series, but also I think that's one of the most fascinating parts about the show is that, upon even just watching these episodes, I'm kind of just like realizing, of course, all kids all they do is just really parrot their parents. They just kind of are just walking, talking, saying whatever their parents like say and think. They don't actually know a single thing. And so I guess that's kind of the fun of it,
Yeah, no, I totally, as a parent, like I understand like how like a lot of the problems in our world are just like the parents tell the children these things, like, because I know that I tell my children a lot of like anti-New York Yankee propaganda about how like never that we were talking today. If my kids ever married a Yankee fan, I wouldn't come to the wedding. So that's how this stuff gets passed down from generation to generation. Parents like spread hate to their kids.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely see that, in a much fuller form, later on. But it is, it's something that's always kind of weird, because we never really meet the parents besides the ending, but we just kind of get people just, parroting.
We can imagine a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see like Taylor's parents. You can see Greg's parents pretty easily. I'd say.
So Emily is going to go on a little bit of a protest here. She's going to lock herself, or she's going to at first. She will go to the general store. Does she lock herself in the chicken coop yet, or does that happen later?
No, that happens basically after the meeting where they're like, "We're going to kill the chickens." We get a shot. I love every time they do a handheld shot of just a kid running as fast as they can through just the set, and Emily just goes bursting running.
She locks herself in the chicken coop. And so then they end up coming out and they have a meeting in the general store. Emily finally says, okay, fine. I'll give in. You can kill the chickens.
She's like, well, first, she's just talking about like, I'm going home if we kill the chicken. I'm going home. But then, eventually she just, two chickens. Who cares? It's not going to feed the kids. Who cares?
And Greg is going to be the person who is the butcher. Melissa, Greg is playing for the gold star. Greg wants that 20K, and at times in these episodes, like he's hot and cold, where sometimes he actually is contributing to the camp here when he is the only person that was willing to kill the chicken. But sort of like, I don't know what's going on in Greg's life. Greg really needs that 20K.
Yes. I absolutely do not believe that Greg has turned over a new leaf and has changed his ways, and now he deserves a gold star. I think it's one of those things where it's like, that's great that now he's, doing, helping the town and doing all that. Like, even if it's for the gold star, at least he's doing those things. But then you don't just immediately give him the gold star because he's done those things. It's like, it should be a constant, okay, now he's really improved, and every week he's still doing it and he's not getting the gold star. So it shows that he's doing it because he wants to and not necessarily because he's only just trying to get the gold star. So I absolutely agree with the idea that don't give it to him yet just because he's, finally doing something nice, or something useful. You wait and you see if the behavior has actually changed. And if not, don't reward that. There are so many other people in the town who are helping. And just because Greg is big and he can carry things or he can murder a chicken, that doesn't mean that you should give him money for that and reward that.
Phil, it is kind of a sad story with Greg where it does sound like he has no money to go to college.
Yeah, he's talking about his college fund. It's funny to think about. As soon as as soon as Sophia got that gold star, Greg just had the dollar signs just on his eyes, just okay, this is what I need to do. I got to go to college now, and I got to think about that. So, I also don't know, $20,000 for college. I mean, it's 2007. I don't know how college costed that in 2007, but. Now, I don't really think that'd pay for much, to be honest, unless Greg's getting scholarships, which, again, I don't know if Greg's getting the scholarships.
No, I don't think Greg is getting a scholarship. I also don't think that Greg is going to an Ivy League university either. Pretty sure that's not the case. All right. So after we get through the chicken saga, I couldn't believe this. Okay. We had no talk of the weather through the first 5 days of Kid Nation. But day 6, I don't know if a cold front has come through, but I could not believe this when the Bonanza City had frozen over. That these are 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. They are living outside, and the water temperature has dipped below freezing. What is going on, Kid Nation?
It does not look like they're prepared for that. I mean, yes, sure, they have hats or whatever and coats, but those buildings are sets. They're sets for old spaghetti westerns, and this is not appropriately fitted with heating or insulation. This is not. It's not I can't imagine. It must be freezing.
Why did they film this in the fall? Why did they film this in the winter, actually, when it's snowing? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Even Survivor conditions, they never put, survivors through actual like freezing weather. Like, and, like these kids, like their laundry, because they have to do their laundry by hand in like buckets of water, for people who aren't watching. And, the laundry buckets which have clothes in them are totally frozen. Like, like they have to wear what's on their backs. It's torture.
So Michael, one of the laborers, has to go to the well to get the water, but the damn well is frozen.
By the way, I want to say I love Michael. I loved Michael then. I love Michael now. He is such I love him so much. He's so great. And he's so well spoken. His little mop top of hair is just so cute. Mm-hmm. And I was so, I was very taken with him at the time.
He's a great leader. No, I think Michael, I might talk about on the show if this was Survivor or Big Brother, I would see Michael as like one of the winners of this show. Michael's
good
just everyone kind of likes him. Yeah.
So all right, so the kids, they can't even drink the water because the well is frozen. So what does Michael have to go do? He has to go get boiling water from the kitchen and then carry boiling water out a quarter of a mile out to the pump. You got a teenager carrying boiling water out into the God knows where to go pour it on the freezing pump so the kids can drink water.
So they can, literally drink water. Again, they don't do that on Survivor. On Survivor, they always have the well. They can always boil water. Yeah. It's insane. But I'm also surprised that the well, like, I guess maybe this was just my paranoia. I was just thinking when I was watching, like, oh, God, like, this water's going to freeze and then they're going to be totally screwed. I don't know what's going to happen. But luckily, everything worked out. It was okay.
Everything worked out. Okay. Yeah. All right.
To be fair, they weren't going to defend like Kid Nation as a show. They weren't going to let the kids like go thirsty because apparently they had PAs going around with like Gatorade and making sure they were all hydrated.
Okay.
So like, I don't know if you, Rob, have seen it, and I asked Phil if he's seen them too, but there's a bunch of interviews on YouTube right now, like that just came out during this quarantine of the Kid Nation kids now talking about their experiences. And of course I've watched them all, and you guys should check them out if you haven't already seen them.
So you know all the inside scoops.
Yes, I know all the inside scoops. Like, let me tell you. So number one, like, I'm just going to like go through this real quick because like you guys are spreading some misinformation last week. I'm just going to say.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Number one, you guys said that when Greg and Blaine went around with the chalk, that the production was telling them like go around, put blue on the, on all their things. That's not true. They actually went and did it. Greg said in his interview that they actually went around and did that. But that and they did it at night though. And then production was like, wait, can we get some footage of you guys like actually doing this? So they did like they said everything was like not scripted. Everything that they did was like something that they actually did. However, in some situations, like if production didn't get a good shot of it, they would make them repeat conversations or make them repeat things that they already did. But there was never any situation where they like said, like, you need to do this or say this. However, there was, so we will get to this, but I'm sure that the people who are listening to this have already watched episode 4 about religion, where Morgan like decides to like host her own service.
Yes.
That actually production told her to do that. They were like, can you like get the people together and like host your own little service for them? And she was like, okay, sure. But they told her to do that. The other thing is, you guys said that the Gold Star conversation with parents was fake, and that they like told the parents and the parents had to act, and then they like did this. According to Michael, they actually flew a crew out to meet with the parents and then said, okay, now at the same time, we're going to film you on one end and we're going to film Michael on the other end, like talking and telling the news to your parents. So that actually is legit. And they simultaneously filmed both sequences, according to Michael.
Okay. Because I think both of those sounds kind of surprising to me. I mean, because again, we'll talk about the parents' conversations. A lot of the parents just act like they have guns to their heads or something like that. Okay, that makes sense. That checks out to me. I do know though that I do know that Taylor this is again what Taylor's saying, and she talked about how a lot of what she was saying on the show, the producers like prompted her. But again, it's a lot of
she would say that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course, if you look bad, you're going to be like, I was forced to say these things. Although I will say that, like, there is
also,
situations.
Anything bad that I said in Survivor the Amazon, the producers made me say.
It's not real. They did, like, the editing. They did edit things out of order. So, like, there is. I guess I can't really get into spoilers, but someone eventually gets a gold star, and there's footage of that person in one of the episodes that we saw here. Like yelling at people and being mean. And that happened after that person got a gold star, like the day after, not before. So like the narrative, I guess, is like this person like improves, but really it was like this person gets a gold star and then like goes rogue and gets worse. So that certainly is not ideal narratively. So I guess that's why they were like, okay, we need to like switch this around.
Melissa.
And something else I do want to get in front of. Sorry to like just going, but something I want to get in front of is the bleach incident. And I'm sure you guys have heard about this.
Yeah.
Which everyone was saying, this is why the show got shut down, blah, blah, blah.
No.
Where the kids drink bleach.
Oh, I don't know about this.
I went to the hospital. So apparently, this is according to DK, is that he is the one who had to go to the hospital. And so this was like a rumor going around the internet for like the longest time. That's like when people were like, why is Kid Nation not coming back? What happened? Well, the kids drank bleach. And so this is really a dangerous show. And they didn't have a good production environment and blah, blah. So apparently that's not the situation. And all the kids are saying that like it's not production's fault that this happened. Like this was just like a pure like bad accident, which was that. So you know how the kids have to clean their own dishes and everything. And clearly
what, like, Yellow didn't do
about it.
Yeah.
And it just looked dirty and disgusting. And they basically would like just like rinse it with water and that was it. Production at night when the kids were asleep would come in and like put bleach in the glassware and all this stuff and like clean it out. So that way they, you know, had clean dishes. And so what happened is production like put bleach in the glassware at the saloon and didn't like fully, like they dumped out the bleach, but they didn't like rinse it or anything. And so there was like a little bit of bleach at the bottom, but it just looked like water.
Yeah.
So it looked like the glass had just been like filled with water, kind of dumped out a little bit, like just a little remnant of water. And the kids would do these like sake bombs, but with the soda where you pour the, you pour the, like they have the little shot glass of soda at the top. You have to like dunk it in and then you have to chug it. And so what they would do is they were doing that. DK and a few other kids were doing that and you have to chug it. So you're not really like tasting what you're drinking. You're just chugging it. And so they were chugging it. And the two girls or whoever he was doing it with were like, this tastes weird. So they didn't chug it. They were like, that's odd. But he was like, oh, they suck. They're bad at this. And he just chugged the whole thing. And then he said afterwards, his throat felt like it was like closing up and his stomach was like weird. And so they were like, uh-oh, hospital, like this is bad. But like, it was not the situation that is being like talked about online, which is like, they gave them bleach and they've been drinking it and they were just chugging up bleach out of the bottle. Like that's not what happened. And so just to, like throw that out the window to start off, like, you know, that's it's not as dangerous or as bad as it sounds. Okay. And the kids don't blame production.
Don't get it twisted, people. The kids did not drink bleach, and also drinking bleach does not cure coronavirus. The kids did drink bleach. They did,
but it's
not on purpose.
Bad as you think.
Yes.
Blame Taylor.
It's fine drinking bleach, you know?
Yeah.
It's Taylor's fault because she didn't clean the dishes. That's what happened.
Blame Taylor. Melissa, can I just ask you, so what is it about Kid Nation that keeps you coming back again and again? Is it just like a time and a place of like, oh, this was great, or do you like really love these characters?
I think it's one of those things where like I watched it the first time and I like was obsessed with it just because like I was like, these are like teens and kids and they're like doing this reality show. Like normally I just watch adults on reality TV. So this is like a new thing for me. It's very interesting. And then I would like revisit it every like after like a long time. I found it on YouTube and I was like, oh, I would have watched this because like I want to see what I loved so much, you know, like what was it? I forgot about it. So I watched it then. And then like more recently, like, I guess like so that was like every like 4 years, whatever it was, like I would just like be like, oh, I should watch that again. Like, let me just see what the whole thing was about. And it was just sitting there on YouTube. Then the most recent rewatch was obviously because of this. And so I was like, okay, I need to rewatch it. So like, it's not that I just like, am like that obsessed with it that I just like can't step away, but like, it is something that it was interesting to me at the time because like, it was so different. Like you don't really see a lot of shows that have like kids on TV like that, like reality shows where it's like kids just interacting. Like, I mean, at the time, like maybe you guys should consider this for a rewatch, but it was, have you ever heard of the reality show like Brat Camp?
No, I haven't.
Where like bad kids had to go to like a wilderness camp called like Sage Walk, and they like
what year was this? What I'm looking this up.
I don't remember what year it was, but it was like that was another one that I was like obsessed with just because like it was like teens like having to like live out there together and blah blah blah. That one like not as much as it's not as fun as Kid Nation for sure. It's more like serious, but you know it's like
was
that
this
sort
a
of
BBC
thing.
show, Melissa?
No, okay, so it was, and then they did a US season, one US season, and that's all they got.
Yeah, okay,
interesting.
All right.
I feel like that one like disappeared. Like no one knows about Brat Camp anymore. I'm like the one person that like knows about it.
So we get to our showdowns. Melissa, showdowns, my least favorite part of Kid Nation.
My least favorite part of Kid Nation, and also my least favorite part of Survivors and Big Brother. Like I absolutely do not care about challenges or competitions. Like I just like want to skip past it. It's like, okay, just tell me who the winner is.
Yeah.
The thing with the showdowns here, though, is that like in Survivor, you can actually kind of follow what's happening. And, you know, in Big Brother, you know, you get people kind of
they're all just a mess.
Like narrating it. Yeah. And this Jonathan doesn't really do a good job of really narrating what's happening. And so we're kind of just watching kids do stuff for 10 minutes.
Let me also say the host is not good. I've seen him in 4 episodes. He's not good. He's not bringing anything to the table. They should have just had a kid be the host.
He's not good.
He's not
apparently
good.
Like didn't he work on like documentaries or something?
Yeah.
Like, I think it shows the charisma is lacking.
He's so
and like
stiff
the connection
that he just shows up to the okay, kids, you are gonna have another showdown. Let's explain how this thing is gonna work. Like he's got nothing. This guy.
No, yeah, it's not. Like, and I feel like he doesn't know how to connect with the kids too.
No,
because he's like you. I think you guys pointed it out where he's just like, we all miss our parents, don't we? It's like, okay, what? Like you too? You probably could like see them when you go home. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. It's very odd to me. He's not the charisma. He's not a Jeff Probst, if you will.
No. He was hired because he was so good at interacting with kids. And that is by far the worst, like his worst feature as a host.
That is certainly not.
So in this showdown, they have to like connect all of these pipes, and Greg is like, oh, I have a lot of experience working with PVC. Like, where was Greg before this?
Yeah, also, like, how could he have experience in every single job ever?
I don't know. He might have been lying.
Step back. I have experience in this area. Oh, killing animals? I have experience in this area. Welding? I have experience in this area. It's like, what do you do?
I couldn't believe this. You know, this the same day, everything is frozen. And you see, like, it's like a windy, like cold, bitter day. And so our challenge here is connect all these pipes. And now also, I'm going to turn the water on. Like, so let's get these kids soaking wet. It's a miracle we didn't lose a kid from pneumonia.
They didn't have gloves on. Nothing. Yeah. Their fingers would freeze off. I don't understand.
These kids are like in winter jackets. And now, kids, we're going to hose you down.
But listen, y'all can hate on Greg all you want. Greg's got life skills. You know, he's going to be able to hunt for you. He can, you know, put piping together. I don't know. Like, you know, I'd marry Greg. You know, why not? You know,
Greg is married with kids now. Greg has kids now. It's weird to think about that.
He probably doesn't have to hire a plumber.
He's also living like on his interview. He was like, yeah, we're going to like start raising pigs and then we're gonna like slaughter them so I can show my kids how to do it. Greg. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, man.
That is not for me. Farm life is clearly not for me.
And what are we doing all this for? What are we playing for? Kids, right behind me is a 45-foot water slide. It's so cold that their laundry bucket is frozen. Yeah, it's a heated water slide because that's what we need in Bonanza City right now. An inflatable water park.
Do you think all those I think that they use like Foley effects or like sound effects for the kids screaming, because every time the kids are going from one place to another or are being shown something new, there's always just like high pitched screaming, like screeching by the kids. And it's just like, they can't be doing this every single time. Like they can't be that worked up about these things. Like I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are you guys yay or nay on the heated water slide? You guys don't like that, really?
No.
Really? Okay. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
What was their other option?
Okay. So then they say like, all right, you didn't get it. Green team didn't finish. They came in last place. Blue district, they won, but only because they have Greg and Blaine, who are the big kids. Red is the merchant class. Yellow are the cooks again, and green, they're the laborers. And so then the host reveals, well, what you would have gotten was a bunch of water pumps that wouldn't freeze. Like, you couldn't give the kids the water pumps that don't freeze anyway?
Yeah, why was that not first
like,
on
what
the
a
list?
Luxury. Water that won't freeze.
One of the few that they miss. No, also we get a really funny quote, from our favorite Michael, where Michael's like, where he gets the labor class, and like Michael says, it could be worse. I could live in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And all the kids are like, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
this kid is so funny.
Yeah, I bet the people who are living in Ethiopia probably were watching this like, what are these Americans doing right now?
Like, what? Yeah, why do we do?
We're not doing this.
Yeah, like, why bring us into this?
Yeah. Okay, so we're seeing some other problems that are going on in Bonanza City. Laurel of the green team, she's not happy that Taylor and her posse, they don't like to cook. Melissa, what do you make of Taylor?
She was certainly a character. I mean, my whole family at the time was always saying, deal with it, like, and quoting her. Like, that is like such a significant quote of hers, deal with it. And she annoyed me to like no end at that time, because it was just like, oh my God, you have to work, you have to do something. And like her like posse of mean girls was just like, I was not having it. And I guess I'm still not having it. Although, to be fair, like, you need to have like a villain of the show. You got to have, the good guys and the bad guys. So I appreciate what she brings to the show. But, God. I mean, at least give her a job that's like, the thing is that like, you give her a job that's like crucial. Like, if you put her in like the merchant class, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll pour my own soda. I don't care. Yeah. But it's like, they literally are the cooks. They're the ones providing the food. Like, that is something you need.
They don't feel like it.
And they're literally like giving them like breakfast potatoes by the handful. And that's all they get is just a little scooping of breakfast potato. And they're like holding it in their hands and eating out of their hands. It's just like, oh my God. Like, if I was a member of like the whatever upper class, the elite, I would be like, okay, I'm stepping in the kitchen. Like, we got to have food. I'm not dealing with this. Like, I'm sorry, that's not happening. So,
Melissa, what do you want from Taylor? Pageant girls, they don't scrape off that old food. Come on, pageant girls, they use dishwashers. They're not used to this. It's beyond Taylor's capabilities, I'd say. I don't know.
That's so true. She is a beauty queen. What can we do?
Yeah. Do we know anything about Taylor as a grown-up?
She just got engaged.
Just got engaged
today. You guys are listening to it. Yesterday Taylor got engaged. Congratulations, Mazel Tov.
Oh, she got engaged yesterday?
I think so.
Yeah. Very recent. I don't know when exactly.
How are you keeping up with the comings and goings of Taylor?
Social media.
Social media.
Keeping in touch.
Okay.
Yeah,
these kids were very easy to find.
Wow. Okay. Do you think she's the same now as an adult, Melissa?
Yes.
Yeah, I think she is. I have an image of Taylor in my head as an adult. Yeah.
I do feel it.
Yeah, we were talking about, Greg's probably an anti-masker. I'm not going to, really say, I think Taylor might be an anti-masker. That's all I'm going to say.
I could see that. I could see Taylor that, I don't know if this is fair to say. Taylor strikes me as maybe she's like a real Karen.
Yeah,
Like if I see her Instagram, yeah. If I look at your Instagram and you can't even you don't even see that there's a pandemic going on in your Instagram feed because you're like hanging out with a bunch of friends all the time or traveling or whatever. Like that is an indicator, like if you look at my Instagram, it's like me and one other person and a dog and barely posting. Like it's clear that I am on full on lockdown. So, that is it's interesting to see her Instagram.
Yeah. Makes the story checks out. Okay. All right. So we also see a little bit more with Emily here in this episode about how she's considering going home over the everything that's going on with the animals. But ultimately, she's going to stay. Also, Greg is still working hard, but he's really making a play for that gold star.
Yeah,
he wants it.
Yeah,
it's definitely just so. And everyone can obviously see through it. We'll talk about it later, how much Greg is really I don't know. I get that. And there's no strategy in Kid Nation, but I guess he's trying to play the most strategy he can. But, everyone can just see right through it. Everyone kind of knows. Yeah. And the thing with Greg, too, is that, as soon as if they give Greg the gold star, then, what is he going to do after that? You know what I mean? Greg's actually putting in the work now. So, if I was a leader, I would just,
dangle
say,
that
Greg,
carrot.
it's coming through. Yeah. So you're going to get that gold star one day, But,
can you win 2 gold stars?
No, I don't think so. I mean, no,
You're out of
I don't
the
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the council is going to get together, trying to figure out who's going to get the gold star. Taylor wants to give it to Greg, but Mike hates Greg. Melissa, that Mike can never say anything good about Greg.
Ever since the pulling of the wagons, Mike is anti-Greg.
Every time Greg comes up, he's like, yeah, but I think he's just trying to get the money. I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it.
He will never come around.
I'm not buying it either. I don't think Mike is wrong in this instance.
Yeah. Michael is also in the running to get the gold star. It's between Michael and Greg. The thing that I was struck by, Phil, in this council meeting when they're talking about who should get the gold star, you could see the kid's breath. That's how cold it is.
Yeah, it looks freezing.
You see people, struggling, in Survivor Tribal Council when it's raining and you see how much they're suffering, that's like every single week on Kid Nation. And it's only getting colder. It's really ridiculous. But yeah.
We have our town hall meeting. Almost everybody is approving of the council except for 2 people. Emily, she doesn't like everything that's going on with the chickens. And Sophia, who is the permanent squeaky wheel, Melissa.
She is.
She's got a lot of problems with what's going on around here.
Yeah, she does not like what's going on, and she always raises her hand to say it. She is not afraid to tell the council that she's not happy, even before and after getting her gold star.
Yeah. Well, she says here about Taylor, about how, hey, you're supposed to be cooking for us. And they were, you need to wake up and cook. And Taylor's like, well, I tried my best to get out of bed. And then they're like, but you have to cook for us. She's like, well, you're going to have to starve. Okay.
We younger people.
Yeah, we're young.
We younger people don't have enough cooking experience. I'm sorry. Y'all are going to just have to starve.
Yeah.
I like how she goes from we'll try our hardest to well, you're going to starve.
How many weeks is it? Yeah, that Taylor's just we're trying, next time this is going to be it. We're really trying. We're working on it. But I promise you guys, next time we got you. We're going to make you something. And
if we can't figure it out, you'll starve.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Okay, so we get to our gold star reveal. It is Michael. Sorry, Greg, not for you. Michael is going to go call his parents. And so Michael gets the chance to tell his parents about how things are going at Kid Nation.
Yeah, it's been great here. I've been hauling water and cleaning toilets.
Michael, are you okay? Michael, do you need us to come get you?
No, his mother's very cold. She's just like, oh my gosh, Michael, that's such an honor. And that's kind of, that's all we get from her, really. We never get any emotion. We never get anything from these parents. It's always just like, oh, wow, great job, kid.
Yeah.
Child of mine. That's it.
Yeah, Melissa, if my son went to Kid Nation and then called me up, I was like, Dad, yeah, they're making me get the water and clean the toilets. Like, why do you have to do that? What happened?
We're building a society, Dad.
Mm-hmm. Like the mom's like, that's great, honey.
Good for you. Yeah.
But the episode ends on a cliffhanger that listen, this is like the origin story of the Joker, where Greg is like, I tried to play ball. Then they give me the gold star and they didn't. So now there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, he's a little scary.
Yeah.
He legit tried to be nice for 3 days and then he was like, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
No more Mr. Nice, Greg.
No more. No more.
Yeah.
This episode ends with like these like little like random slices of life. I believe this is Jared walking across the barrels by himself. Jared is so great. He like I had a theory like going through this, like, was Jared even there? Would they just find this kid like, oh, hey, he's good in confessionals, let's just get a million confessionals with him. You almost never see him at Kid Nation, but he's like the go-to guy to cut to at any point. He had a couple of good lines in this episode. This is Jared talking about killing the chicken.
It was flopping around, running in circles, clogging at me. It was dead.
He was talking about how, like, we killed the chicken, we ended the cycle of life.
Yes. He feels like that the kids should not be playing God.
We sped up the natural cycle of life and death. And gave you 2 seconds a shortcut.
Oh my God.
I subscribe to this, fan fiction that Jared was done in reshoots. I think that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm.
I did see him. He was carrying water. Yeah.
They probably just like shipped him over to Bonanza City by himself and just were like, okay, like, let's just get some like footage of you in the town, like carry some water here, walk around here. Like, let's just get some footage. And then they just like shot all his confessionals.
Yeah, I do love just in this ending clip, it's totally just, he's unsupervised. Like, thank God nothing happened to Jared, but he's just walking on these barrels, that could have rolled over. He could have like broke his nose. I don't know, but it's just funny that we're just kind of watching this, making sure it's kind of,
I love how they're like, this is good stuff. Like, this is good stuff. We got to put this into the episode. Like, we need this. It's like, he's just walking across a barrel. Like, why is that like the end cap of the episode? It's like, okay. Weird.
Yeah, he doesn't even like wipe out or anything. He's just like walking on the barrels.
Like,
yeah.
Just like, well, is he gonna do it? Oh, he did it.
He made it.
Okay, that's it.
He made it. We'll be right back to talk about episode number 3 of Kid Nation. But first, let me take a moment and thank a sponsor. Those are our friends over at Honey, the browser extension that can save you some money. Try Honey today at joinhoney.com/RHAP. That's joinhoney.com/RHAP. Look, we've been saying for a long time, thinking is overrated. Between home, school, work, kids, relationships, the world, you got a lot on your plate to think about. That's why Honey is there to make at least one aspect of your life a lot less complicated, and that part is saving money. Just add Honey to your computer for free and shop on lots of your favorite websites like normal. And if Honey finds a coupon, it will automatically tell you, applying the correct codes and dropping the price in a flash. No thinking, no remembering, no searching, just blissful automation. It's already found over 1 billion in savings automatically. There's so many other things that I'd rather be thinking about, like the Mets trade for Francisco Lindor, or who the next Jets coach is going to be. I don't need to be thinking about what's going. I got to think about how do I send my kids out to the next Kid Nation to get them out of the house for 40 days. Honey is a no-brainer. In a few seconds, you can have one less thing to worry about. So what are you waiting for? Try Honey today at joinhoney.com/RHAP. That's joinhoney.com/RHAP. And let's get back to talking about the curfew that's going on at Bonanza City. Let's talk about episode number 3, okay? So episode number 3 is all about the curfew. The kids are out of control at Kid Nation. Bonanza City, boy, the nightlife in Bonanza City, Phil, is lit at the saloon.
Yo, they're like down in the sodas. They're down in Dr. Pepper's, root beers, like partying. Some kids playing the piano like Schroeder. It's like peanuts in there. Like,
what the hell is going on in Kid Nation?
Jared said, the next morning he was like, oh, I got 4 hours of sleep last night.
Yeah.
Which means they got up they went to bed at like 3 a.m. Like, what are they doing?
In fairness, they're drinking an incredible amount of caffeine, Melissa.
That is true. It seems exciting. I want to be a part of it. It sounds like a fun party.
Have you ever, as a younger kid, like gone to a party where there's nothing to do except like drink like liters and liters of soda? I don't ever remember this as part of my youth, going someplace where the only activity is just like kids like pounding soda. They're doing shots. They're filling up like tumblers and just throwing them back pint glasses of soda. I've never seen this before.
The worst part of being a kid is not the worst part of being a kid, but like, those sleepovers, those sleepover parties where it goes too long and you stay up too late and you're like too hyped up and like,
yeah.
And then it just turns into from like a fun sleepover to like a nightmare sleepover where everyone's like hating each other and mean and people are pulling pranks and it's just like a total nightmare and you want to go home. Like that, I feel like is the next progression of this like saloon life in Bonanza City.
Yes. Melissa, I'm glad you made that comparison because I do feel like that Kid Nation is like a sleepover gone wrong because there and then like any sleepover, there are also like inevitably going to be like a few kids that are like hysterical crying and some parent is going to get a phone call at like 2 a.m. like hey, your kid is here and he's crying and you need to come pick him up. Yeah. Like there's some kid that's just sitting there that's hysterical. That's just like, just really wants to go home and see his mom and dad. He's not going to make it.
Well, apparently like when Jimmy left, he didn't immediately go home or have his parents immediately there because like you don't know that the kid's going to leave until the kid says like, I'm going to leave. So you don't just like walk out the town meeting and go straight to your parents. He went to a hotel for like 2 days with a handler and then finally got to be with his parents. So like he was still separated from his parents. Like, I just feel like it's oh God, it is really honestly like the worst parts of a sleepover. Like you have like the bully there, the kid who's like being picked on and being isolated from the group and has no friends. Like you have like, it's just, and of course, you have the killing and murdering of animals. Like that happens at every sleepover and the religion and the religious services at every sleepover. So, it really is an apt comparison.
So, Phil, do we think that the producers prompted the kids to be staying up all night partying at the saloon? Because again, that we know when the leadership goes to go and check out the book is going to talk about how by now you've probably realized that your town will need a curfew if it's going to survive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing with the show is that, because other reality shows, not every single week there's like a theme, but the producers are able to really just push, okay, this is what is happening in this episode. This episode is about religion. This episode is about curfew. So in this scene, you all are going to be, partying, and if they're just giving the kids soda and they're like, why not? We have nothing to do. Let's dance. I don't know. Like I've never been to a kids party like that either, where there's not even like a video game. It's not even like a school dance. Like it's, there's no organization. It's just complete pandemonium. 40 kids in a saloon. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. It's wild. They need to come up with a curfew. And, the leadership, they're all on board. Mike is very much, Melissa, feeling like, I think this town does need a curfew. He gets very excitable Mike?
Mike likes to yell a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do have to say, like, I feel like Mike gets a really bad rep. Like, I feel like a lot of people dislike Mike for one reason or another, and I do feel like he's just trying his best to be a leader. Like, this poor kid, like, everybody hates him, and it's just like, it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, like, because, we know why, like, Anjay's a leader. He's, he seems like someone who's really smart. We know why Taylor's a leader, and we know why Laurel's a leader. Like, Laurel seems like a great leader. Like, I don't know. Laurel is like a good motivator for the children, and Taylor's a great villain. I don't understand why the producers or why anyone, picked Mike as this is going to be your leader. Like, Mike, to me, adds nothing to the table.
He has a short fuse.
Yeah, he's not like a farm kid like Greg. He doesn't seem like that, extraordinary. I guess, the short fuse does it.
I think he was a Boy
know.
Scout. I think maybe they felt like that.
Yeah, I think he's like a Boy Scout. Like, to me, like, honestly, I'm surprised you say that, because to me, like, he is like the epitome of like a kid, like, leader, like a Boy Scout, like a guy. He's got the glasses. He's smart or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's, I just feel like he seems like that, like, leader type, like. I think in like Lord of the Flies or whatever, like the kid who would like take charge, like, and as the initial leader, and then obviously be overrun by the harder, more intense kids.
Yeah.
But he seems like that kind of guy to me.
I think he fits the mold of being like a really like frazzled RA also. Like, I can see that if that was in his future.
He's always just way in over his head. Yeah, like, in the first week, it's like, oh, wow, these kids are not listening to me. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we need a curfew. What's it going to be? Because, you have kids that are 8 and then kids that are 15. Should it be 8? Should it be 9? Ultimately, they agree on 9:30. And that's what the leadership is going to deliver to the townspeople. Does not go over great, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Greg is fully down with that. I don't think, Greg, you can't tell Greg when to go to bed. Greg is going to really do his own thing. And that's kind of another thing we see in this episode. Like, we see at the bar last night, Greg is totally like hyping everybody up. Like, yo, we're drinking tonight. We're having fun. And then the next morning, we see Greg waking everybody up at 7 a.m. with the pots and pans like Josh, he's just wake up, dragging kids.
Oh, God, no.
Like, weren't you at the bar last night, like, hyping us up? Like, what's going on, Greg?
No, he can hang.
I wonder if they had done like a graduated curfew where it's like the younger kids have to be in bed by 7, and then like, then you've got, or 8 or whatever, and then you've got like a 9 o'clock for like the middle kids, and then like the older kids can stay up till like 10:30 or whatever. Like, I don't know how that would have gone over, but I feel like if I was one of the leaders during that time, I probably would have said something like that, because I would have been like, well, I'm not like 8 years old. Like, I don't need to go to bed that early. Like, I want to stay up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We meet one kid in this episode, Colton. He thinks it's a good idea for some reason. He's very excited about the curfew.
Colton's a bootlicker. Colton just like listens to whatever the leaders say, and he's just totally fine with it. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. We also learned about some of Colton's pastimes in this episode. That he is presented to us as he is like a cowboy. He likes to go and take his friends and then go chase the cows, which seemed like a very bad idea. It seemed like that he was like taunting a bull at one point. I was expecting him to get gored, but ultimately the bull just ran away.
How could producers just stand by during that situation? Like, I mean, it's one thing, like, okay, a kid is like climbing on a barrel. Like, that's not ideal, but like, whatever. But like taunting a live bull, that is not, I mean, they could have been like, hey, stay away from the animals and not like ruin the show.
Like, the thing is, like, the camera is so far away. So it's like such a wide shot. There's nothing. It's just Colton and the bull. That's it. There's no producers by the side. There's nothing. I'm surprised the bull didn't just hit him. That would have been crazy TV, but it would have been terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, before, in addition to everything that's going on with Colton, I can't believe I skipped over this. Greg does not deal with the curfew well. Greg is having a meltdown. And Greg is going off that they didn't give him the gold star. No more Mr. Nice Greg. And Greg is yelling and carrying on. He's fighting with an 8-year-old girl.
Oh my God, he rolled on my leg. Let's go tell everyone. Ow, I'm a little bitch.
I mean, we're just watching a 15-year-old having a mental breakdown on national television.
Why was he so mad? What is going on?
Because he can't mentally take it out there. He had to be nice for 3 days, and now he can't handle it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Sophia calls him the village idiot. He's like, no, you're the village idiot.
All he does, yeah, he's just like swears a lot, you know, and of course, you know, for all like Mallory, who's 8 years old, you know, she's like, oh, Greg's talking bad. Like, but, you know, that's kind of like Greg's biggest thing. When Greg gets mad, he'll just start cussing, which, you know, frazzles all the other kids because, you know, they're not used to that, I guess. I don't know.
It's out of control.
Also just locks himself into a room and they kind of don't know what to do about it.
Yeah. I mean, then listen, nothing kind of comes out of this.
Yeah, no one really does anything. I mean, what can they do against Greg? He's, you know, bigger. He's older.
Yeah.
He's multi-talented. You can't fight that.
Maybe this is a theme for a later episode, but Phil, should there have been a jail in Bonanza City?
Oh, that would have been amazing. See, that's where Mike would have come in great. If Mike was like the prison warden,
a sheriff.
Amazing.
I feel like that's like a Western thing of like he has like a six-sided star of like hey, there's a new sheriff in town.
No spoilers, but I mean, I guess a little bit of spoilers, but that does kind of come into play as a sheriff.
As
situation.
It should. Thematically, I think it should. Okay. So things are also just getting crazy. We're seeing like the green team working on latrine duty. Morgan and Sophia, they're like the chief workers and laborers. They're doing a great job. Meanwhile, the yellow team, Taylor and her crew, they're supposed to be cooking. Instead, they're having a fight with the flour.
Oh my God, that made me very upset. What a waste. They don't have that much food there. Do you see their little supply? They just have like a few canned goods. Flour is critical. You know, you don't want to go around wasting that. And do you know how hard that is to clean up? Like you saw a little Mallory or whatever, like literally just like raking flour into the ground, just like spreading it out into a large mess. I was like, this is not helping. But okay, like I appreciate the idea of like, I'm going to work and pick this up. But like you just like raking it into the ground is like not going to pick it up.
You guys didn't have flower fights when you were kids? Like flower fights in the kitchen, you know? Okay, I guess that also works for me.
Not yet.
Oh, you thought flower fights were real where you like throw them around? No, that's just in the movies.
Yeah.
That's just in Kid Nation.
If anybody has a flower fight at my house, they're going to Kid Nation.
Yeah.
All right. Showdown, episode number 3. This was insane. Okay? Round up a posse in sheep. You have 5 minutes. 1, Melissa, the stampede of sheep seemed very dangerous.
I mean, yes. Yeah, it did seem like that. And I mean, if this was airing on TV today, I mean, you saw the outrage for the sheep challenge in Big Brother. Like, this would have been absolutely not. Yeah. Like, you know, people would have been up in arms.
Phil.
Both for the kids and the sheep.
2, did they spray paint a bunch of sheep?
I mean, what does it look like, Rob? I mean, I'd like to think that they're just going for the shock value of just like, we did this, but I don't know how fully self-aware CBS was of all these, you know, unsupervised, or I guess a little supervised, you know, children in this pen with wrestling a bunch of sheep that are spray painted. I don't know. The whole thing just looks like a mess. Like, I don't understand. Like this, again, national TV, and we're just watching it. I don't know. It was absolutely ridiculous. And again, with the editing, we have no idea what's going on. It's just chaos for about 4 minutes. Right?
It's just chaos. Ultimately, all the teams are going to do it. This time, yellow is going to be the upper class. Blue is the merchant class. Green are the cooks. Red will be the laborers this time around. And we get to see it's time for a reward for the town. Decision time. And this, I thought, was wild. We have a decision between okay, kids, you could get a microwave oven and a barrel of cocoa. And I'm like, what the hell are they going to microwave? Melissa, it's not like they have like a month's supply of Hot Pockets ready to go. What's the microwave for?
Yeah, I feel like normally they give a pretty good, like, you know, offer where it's like, you either have this like thing that is fun for you, or you have this thing that will actually be useful for you in the town to make the town better. And I think that is what like made them, I mean, they saw the other option. And so they were like, oh, this must be the good option for us. Like, this must be the helpful thing. But it really isn't. I mean, I guess like technically, like, you could like microwave leftovers or like open up one of those like things of canned apples and like microwave it. Like it probably would make cooking easier, but like you don't get like full on meals from the microwave, and you definitely don't get full on meals from a barrel of cocoa. So I don't know what they were thinking of with this thing. I love how all the kids are like, what are we going to microwave?
Yeah, everybody's like, there's nothing here to microwave. We have no food stuff to microwave. We don't have a fridge. There's nothing to reheat. Nothing to microwave.
You guys don't think they're microwaving Taylor's hash browns? Like I'm so confused. Like you think they're all like popping them in all the time? Like, oh, I'm so excited to eat more Taylor's hash browns.
One handful of hash browns. You save some for later.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue. Yeah.
Okay, and then they're presented the other option, or we have 40 hot pizzas, and every kid is like, pizza. That's it.
Pizza, duh.
That's a lot of pizza. We're 39 kids, 40 pizzas. It's one meal, but it's the best meal we've had here in 10 days. Let's take the pizza. And they deliberate. And somehow they come back with the microwave, Melissa.
I honestly think it's one of those things where like every time previous, I guess it was only 2, but still they had the option between something that was like fun for now versus something that will help them in the town. And they had to like make the like not selfish choice. They had to make the choice that it would benefit them in the long run. And I think that kind of clouded their judgment, because usually it's like a water slide or toilets or whatever. You know what I mean? Like now all of a sudden it's like 2 choices that are like, and they picked the one that actually I don't think benefits them in the long run. So I think that like, I see where they were going with this, but at the same time, like, it was not the right choice in this situation.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Jonathan prompted this whole thing, like, before the challenge. He's like, you know, I know you guys are looking for some order in the kitchen, you know, so, you know, you're really expecting like, all right, you know, they're going to add something, you know, to stop the flower fights, maybe some shelves. I don't know, something. But yeah.
A dishwasher.
Yeah, a dishwasher.
That would help.
Something. But no, I mean, yeah. So, like, would you guys, if you guys were on, would you have taken the pizza or the microwave and the cocoa?
Pizza.
I think I would have taken the pizza. Yeah, like. Also,
how much cocoa can you drink?
One meal. And they already have all the sodas and everything. I don't know. I think the pizza would have lasted them maybe, you know, a couple days, because there's 40 pizzas, 39 kids. Like, a kid's not going to eat a whole pizza. I mean, you know, they're like 10. I don't know. It could have lasted.
Give 1 pizza per kid, and if the kid wants to ration their pizza and save it for later, that's on them. But like, everyone gets a pizza, and that's the way it is. Like,
Greg actually would have eaten all their pizzas, though. That's the thing.
So somehow they take the microwave. Nobody is happy, and then that was it. We did the whole showdown for the microwave and a barrel of cocoa. All right. Again, every time I think, all right, well, this is really reckless, a new thing happens that I'm like, oh my God. Somebody help these children. A tornado comes, and they said if they would have had the TV, they would have known if a tornado was coming. They didn't take the TV. And Melissa, then we get like this crazy storm, and nobody is like, children, get it to safety. We're just filming the children as they run around aimlessly.
I mean, what kind of like weather Bonanza has? I mean, it's like you've got one day it's like freezing cold, like ice storm. One day it's boiling hot. One day it's snow. One day it's a giant tornado. Like, I mean, this place is like some mystical place. I don't, and also like, why pick this place for a film set? It seems like you'd want predictable weather. Like, that's why they film in California. Yeah. Like, not this crazy up and down and hot and cold sort of situation.
I read that like the reason why they shot it in New Mexico was because of like the child labor laws there, and they were only permitted for some reason. Like in New Mexico, like they had like kind of like wonky child labor laws where they like permit more stuff. But after Kid Nation happened, like New Mexico totally shut that down. So now like they couldn't shoot it anymore.
Rightfully so. Good call, New Mexico.
Isn't there a rumor though that Kid Nation is coming back?
Oh god!
Like this year or something. Like there was a plan to like bring King Nation back, and like, well, that's what I heard.
I don't know.
They were going to bring it back, and that like that's why there's been like a lot of like activity around it. Is like it's coming back.
I don't know if it'd be CBS, but I also like it was crazy to think about like you see in Survivor 33 when there was the cyclone. You know, they stopped everything. They took them to a hotel room or somewhere. I don't know, but you know. Here, it just like there was no producer. You'd think that in a moment like this, there'd be some, you know, they'd break the camera. You know, they totally, someone would come in and say something, you know, break the fourth wall. But no, it's just, you get shots of kids kind of running around. I don't even know what they're looking for. And it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have to put the city back together, bring the outhouses back up. We get that going. A couple of kids are crying about potentially going home. We see Cody. Is this when Cody's talking about his girlfriend, or is that the next episode?
It's the next episode.
Okay. So he's already crying about going home.
He's crying about how he has dirt in his eye and he can't get it out.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah. Mallory's crying. But the leadership is gonna have one-on-one meetings with everybody about who should get the gold star. And we see Blaine, he's just like Greg's lackey. He says Greg. They ask Greg who should get the gold star, and he says, myself.
See, horrible strategy. I know this is not a strategy show, but if you are trying to, you know, get the gold star, like, don't just say, you know, me. Like, you know, when they later had Morgan come in, Morgan had a great answer where Morgan was like, you know, I think, you know, everyone kind of deserves it. Or she said something like that.
It also made me want to throw up.
Like a King Solomon thing. Right.
It's just like, oh, please.
Yeah, she doesn't say herself.
Like, everybody deserves it.
Okay. So it's
great.
Yeah, we're sort of like fed, okay, it's either going to be Greg or it's going to be Morgan. But then here comes Olivia. And Olivia has a little bit of a curveball. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, Olivia is here with her sister, right?
Mallory. Yeah,
all right. Olivia is here with her sister, Mallory. And she's like 11, and their sister is 8. And she says, you know, it's my sister's birthday. I think that she deserves the gold star. This is a very good strategy because, but if you're a kid and your sibling gets $20,000, that's exactly the same as if you got $20,000. Like,
it's garbage.
Family,
it's garbage.
Family got $20,000. Melissa, you're unhappy.
No, I'm not happy. I think that this result was stupid. I think that they're like, wow, she's working really hard. It's like, yeah, well, so is everyone else. Like, yeah, obviously you're not going to give it to Taylor or like her lackeys, but like you're going to like give it to Mallory just because she's young and it's her birthday and because her sister says that she should get it.
Yeah.
I think that
maybe they're looking at the bigger kids too much and there's stuff happening below the surface.
Yeah, no, this one was a mistake. I got to say, I think this was a mistake. I do not think that they should have given it to her.
Well, I do think, you know, that's a good point. You know, it is kind of like Rob and Amber in a way where they both, you know, they can go in and, you know, they have an equal chance, you know, they can both get the money. But, you know, I don't know. I do think that, you know, a $20,000 present, that's a big birthday present for an 8-year-old. I don't know. Yeah, I also kind of think it's a little BS. Maybe.
I think this one was a mistake, and I think the Sophia one was a mistake.
Oh.
I think Sophia later could have gotten it, but I think that the first episode should have been Michael. Michael quieted everybody down and got everyone like to listen, whereas Sophia riled everyone up and basically was going to lead like a mutiny against the town council. Like if I was town council, I'd be like, I don't want to give this to her. I absolutely would not have given it to her. I feel like, you know, I just feel like I think Michael should have gotten it first week. Maybe Sophia next week. Who knows? But the order is wrong, and this Mallory one is just a travesty.
I'm so sad there wasn't a season 2 because you would have. I agree with all those picks 100%. You would have been a great leader.
I would have been so good, so good.
All right, so we have our town hall meeting, and of course, like every single town hall meeting, they ask, "Does anybody have any issues with what's going on?" Sophia again. Why are we doing all the dishes?
Well, look at this. It's Sophia again with a problem.
Yeah.
See.
Well, are you Team Taylor? Are you saying that Taylor is doing a good job?
I'm just saying that Sophia, like you said earlier, she's the squeaky wheel. She always has a problem. And, this is just another example of her having an issue.
Because the thing is, though, Sophia's always the one that's like in the kitchen, regardless of, whatever is going on. Whoever wins every single week, Sophia's always the one doing the cooking because, Taylor's not doing jack. And, So I think it makes a little bit of sense, but also, I don't think that anyone really handles the town hall meetings well. I think it all just kind of turns into like a Pawnee, like screaming match where they're all just like, Taylor, you did it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Sophia has a vote of no confidence for Taylor, and Taylor cries. Doesn't think she's doing a good job.
Did that touch you guys at all, or no? You didn't. Cold hearted.
No, Taylor says she's going to start helping to clean up the town.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, right, Taylor.
I like how Olivia's like, it didn't work. Even when you were in there, it didn't work. That's a famous line.
All right. Does anybody want to go home? No, nobody wants to go home this time. The winner of the gold star is Mallory. Morgan was robbed here.
Morgan was robbed.
Morgan was robbed.
And Morgan should have gotten it this week.
Mm-hmm.
Greg is so whiny too. Like Greg is just like he's okay, you didn't get the gold star in week 3? Like 10 days in. Like there's 30 more days. Like I don't know. Like it makes me want to give him a gold star way less the way he campaigns for it. It's horrible. Just give it a rest, man.
All right. So Mallory is going to call her mom. Guess what? I made $20,000. I couldn't believe this. She talks to her dad, and dad says, "Oh, Mallory, I heard the school bus the other day and I thought of you." And I said, "Wait, they're also missing school for this? This isn't even during the summer?" Like these kids.
I know. Why wouldn't this be during the summer? Like better weather? No school?
They took these kids out of 5 weeks of school for this?
Perfect time to do it.
But I think they argued, I read something where the producers, argued that, this is better, it's a better education than, a whole year's worth of school, or something like that. Something like they talked about,
It's not. This was worse. You're not going to want to miss what they did to those poor kids at Kid Nation and started to institute mass religion in Bonanza City. We'll talk about that next. But first, let me thank one more sponsor for this episode of the podcast. Those are our friends over at Skills with a Z. If you have fun playing games and you love to win some extra cash, go to skillswithaz.com/RHAP. That's skillswithaz.com/RHAP. You know all the times that we spend playing games on our phone? Well, there's actually a way that you could be playing your favorite games and winning money at the same time. You could join me and the listeners of Rob as a podcast at skills.com/RHAP. That's skills with a Z, because Skills makes it super easy to get started, and they have games for everyone like Solitaire Cube, 21 Blitz, fun new games like a Blackout Bingo. I like Block Blitz. Reminds me a lot about when I used to play Tetris all the time. It's fair because you're matched against players at your skill level. It's not like Kid Nation where there's kids that are 8 and then you have Greg who's 15. Beginners play beginners. Experts play experts. Play for free against me, friends, listeners, coworkers, or play to win serious cash and amazing prizes. Even cars. It's totally legit. Players have won over $2 billion. Have more fun playing the games you love and win some extra cash. Go to skills.com/RHAP. That's skillswithaz.com/RHAP. Must be 18 or older. Terms and conditions apply. Not available in all states. Prizes may vary. Winning is not guaranteed. See website for details. Let's get back to talking about more Kid Nation. Episode 4 is here. We have to talk about this. The episode is called Bless Us and Keep Us Safe. And I was blown away again of every time I think that they can't find a new bottom for Kid Nation of what they're doing to these kids. Here we go. And for some reason, the producers decided, you know what's really important? That we need to figure out how are the kids at Kid Nation going to figure out the worship situation here in Kid Nation. Very important to all 8-year-olds. All right, we need to figure out ways to get them arguing over religion.
Yeah, you know what we're missing here? Religious arguments.
That's
arguments. What we need for.
Yes.
I hated this episode.
I will say,
much. It's so pointless.
I will say that, okay, so Sophia is off for a walk with Morgan, and they have this conversation about how things are going there.
Sophia? Yeah. Do you think God put us here for a reason?
I stopped believing in God a while ago.
Now, Phil, do you think that Sophia stopped believing in God after God put her on Kid Nation?
I think, yeah, that was the breaking point where she was talking about it later in the confessional. Like, yeah, I had this moment where I realized, it came from this. No, I think this episode proves why Kid Nation is a failure in some aspects, because, they definitely thought, going in, these kids are going to say something more powerful about religion than any adults will ever, say. It'll speak truths about our society. But it really shows, again, just kind of how clueless children don't know a thing. They don't know anything. So they're just arguing about just nothing for a whole hour, just kind of, again, saying whatever their parents are telling them, and they're just bringing it in with such ignorance. It's insane.
This episode made me hate everybody on the cast, where they're like, I don't want to be in a room with Jewish people. It's like, what the heck is wrong with you? What's wrong? These kids are so awful. They're all like, well, I can't. We're going to start arguments if we're going to talk about religion. It's like, why? when I was in fourth grade, I went to sleepaway camp, and I was not, and I'm not religious at all, but at sleepaway camp, in order to kind of bring everyone together, every Sunday we would go up to this mountain. It was called Chapel. And at first I was like, this is not anything I want to be a part of. I don't want to do this at all. And then, but it turns out that Chapel, it wasn't a religious service. It was literally hey, let's all get together, any religion, no religion, whatever. And sing a song or share something about our day or whatever. And you would just watch the sunrise or whatever on this mountain. And it was very peaceful. Not saying that I loved getting up before the sun rose or anything like that. Or I learned to love going to chapel or something. But the fact is you can do a non-denominational service. You don't need to separate the different religions, do all this stuff. It's they just it honestly was it was so disheartening to see, because I'm sure the producers were probably thinking they were either thinking oh, this will be great drama, or they were thinking it would be one of the, Phil was saying, it would be one of these lessons where it's kids don't see religion, that's an adult issue, and that's brought in later. Kids don't see skin color, they're friends with everybody, and that's something that we've taught them through society, and so it's supposed to be the kids being man, we're all part of the same. What's the big deal? Why do we need separate services? Instead, they're all we need separate services. I want to be separate. I cannot be part of this. It's oh my God. It's a tough episode for me to watch. I do not like it at all.
Yeah.
It's third grade. It's third grade discourse. That's what it is. It reminds when they were in the cafeteria and they're talking about they're Jew crew, and then some girls Christians are better. It's again, these are conversations. I remember when I was in third grade, these were the conversations that people were having. Again, we're not really getting to the bottom of anything.
Nothing. There's some anti-Hanukkah talk of, oh, Hanukkah, whoop-de-doo. Oh, there was oil in the lamp. That's a bad holiday. I was so mad Colton. When I heard that kids were mean to Jared about him being Jewish. That made me so incensed. And then I was so mad at the founders of Bonanza City for telling the kids that they need to set up a place for them to worship.
Right. They don't need that. Like I feel like, and I get why they did this. Like, I get that they don't want to have just like an unstructured show where it's actually a social experiment where they're like, let's bring these kids in and like see how they create a society and see what happens when you like put kids in this situation and they have to create their own world. Like, do they need religion? Do they have issues about XYZ? You know what I mean? Like, I would much prefer to see that, but I get why like they want to have structure, but it's like, they're manufacturing these conflicts and manufacturing these issues that like the kids might not necessarily have even brought up religion. Like, it might, if it came about organically and the kids were like, we should have a service, like, then that's a different story. But like purposely being like, you need to have a service, like you're asking for issues. Like,
yep.
And that's, like, I think that's like the thing about, you know, like when the producers are telling them like, all right, you're going to have this service. And Taylor and Mike, again, are two people that are totally like, we're doing this. Shut up. This is what's happening. Like, and they're just parroting again what the producers are telling them. Like, they have I don't think they have a full stance on religion. I don't think either of them wanted this before, but now that they're the leaders and they're in charge, it's happening regardless.
Yeah.
You know?
The book says that we have to have it, so we have to have the service, everybody.
their society broke down because they didn't have a service. It's like, this is a fake book, people.
Yeah.
Written by the producers for maximum drama.
All right. The kids have some hot takes about religion. I don't know which of the kids said this.
Would you put Democrats and Republicans in the same room together? That's like putting Hindus and Christians in the same room.
Like, would you put them in? Well, we do it every day in the government. So, like, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I guess, like, I don't know. Is that working out?
I don't know.
Her second sentence, she might have had me a little bit in the beginning, but she lost me.
Yeah,
she really lost.
Then one of the little girls there also, she is not down with the idea of the shared service because it is different than the Pentecostal house of worship that she normally goes to.
I'm used to going to religious services with Pentecostal people, and I don't want to be with Jewish people or atheist people.
Yeah.
Not great.
It's so bad. Like, it goes to show just like what like garbage parents are putting in kids' heads like about this type of thing. Right. Then if that's your kid, you're sort of like going, like taking them to school at the next meeting. You're sort of like, hey, wasn't your kid on kid? I don't think that was on my kid. No, not her.
Yeah.
God, so bad.
Yeah. So also Sophia, she has left religion. Also, she was that her family is Jewish. She has left religion. She's out. Just like she went to the service at the temple. Is anybody here unhappy with everything that's going on in the faith? And Sophia had her hand up. Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm leaving.
Vote of no confidence.
Vote of no confidence, Rabbi.
You know, Sophia, she's 14 years old. So, you know, when you're 14, those are things that you start to, you know, maybe like think for yourself. But, you know, she's, again, like one of the oldest people there. No one else has that. So
Sophia's bat mitzvah was a huge downer. It was not fun.
She's over it.
Yeah, she did not like the food or the dishwashing that went on at the bat mitzvah. Okay, so Mike says, okay, we need to have a religious service, everybody. He says schedules a religious service and nobody comes. This was ballsy, I thought, by the kids. Complete no-show.
As much as I'm like sitting here like, no, this is a real this show and like everything happened, I feel like this must have been a setup. Like, there's no way that not a single kid showed up. Like, even kids who were like, I mean, I just feel like the kids who were like, this is religion's not that. I mean, they're kids. Not every single kid at this Kid Nation is uber religious or like anti or pro one religion or anti another religion. Like, I just feel like there's got to be at least like a handful of kids who are like, like take it or leave it. Like, I'll show up to this like thing just because the town council's asking me to. Like, I just feel like there's no way that not a single kid showed up. Yeah. Everybody protested this like nice joint service. Like, it's like, I don't believe that.
I think I'm the opposite. I think this is like one of the few times where the kids like rejected it. But I see your point. But also I think like there are the kids who are just super, super devout in their religions and they don't want to be around kids who aren't of the same religion. But I think there's also like a lot of kids Guy Lon was talking about. He's like, I just don't want religion as a part of my society, and I think there's a lot of kids that realize that, if we talk about religion, see, these kids think that if they talk about religion, then it's going to, cause rifts and it's going to make them, realize how different they are from one another. And I don't think any of them actually want that, nor do they realize that it doesn't really matter, whatever, whatever religion you are, and it's all okay. And we can all still be friends and it's okay. I don't know.
That's true. I mean, and thinking back on it, when I was in fourth grade going to that chapel thing at sleepaway camp, I asked on the first day if I could just not go. I was like, I'm not religious, so can I just stay in my bunk? And they were like, no, come on, it's not religious, just come. So I did have to be persuaded to go. So I could see myself as a fourth grader being like, yeah, I'm not going to this thing. I don't want to have any part of this.
And it's also, I think, because religion when you're young is so tied to your parents, the fact that their parents aren't there, it's like, oh, I don't know if I should be doing this without, my mom or my dad, not around and telling me if this is okay to go to. It's absurd, but I think that's what they're thinking,
So one of the kids, Alex, he's 9. He's going to conduct a census of, all right. It's very detailed. That he's like, okay.
He's so smart.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So that's Jewish. Okay. Are you Orthodox or Reform? Okay. Are you a Sunni Muslim or Shiite? He's very thorough in his census of the kids. Yeah.
I loved that.
Alex, now, just so you guys know, he's an international linguistics Olympiad medalist.
He said it was like the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, he really knows his stuff, and this is I think one of the sweetest moments of the whole show. Just and again, he knows more about religion at a 9-year-old age than Colton's parents do. Probably, it seems like they're teaching him something a little different. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. He's so smart. And he was so open and understanding and just trying to get a better sense of what everyone believed and who was who and that sort of thing. I just thought it was he's just so great. He knows more about religion than I do. I feel like he's way more experienced and able to talk to everybody about it. And I feel I don't know. I just really like him.
Okay.
Really empathetic too, the way he talked about it. But yeah, he's good.
Right. No judgment or anything. I just thought that it was very sweet.
After Mike's joint services were a bust, at nighttime, Melissa mentioned this, Morgan got everybody together for a nighttime bonfire to get people non-denominational. Let's go out by the bonfire and pray. Big hit.
I also love how it's when they proposed everybody having a service together, that's an absolute no for me. I'm not doing that. But when Morgan proposes to have everybody come together for a service, okay, I'll do that. It's that's literally what they were trying to do earlier. What the heck is the difference? Just because you're around a bonfire?
I think a big thing about it is the leadership style. If this was a game, I would Morgan would be one of my winner picks just because of the way Morgan's able to talk to the kids and have them realize, it's okay if we go to this. And I think, versus Mike shouting, shut up, this is happening. It's very different. It's easy to persuade a kid, you
Phil, Can I add also that perhaps also that we have talked about how Kid Nation takes place in a frozen tundra, and the fact that Morgan was doing anything by a fire, that was, big fire? Oh, okay, I'll be there. Yeah. Yeah, I will go stand by the big fire.
I do they just have bonfires every night? They have the kids just set a trash bin on fire, set the toilet paper on fire? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea.
The next day, Taylor and the yellow team, they've taken over the general store. They're having a seltzer fight at the general store.
They just like to make a mess. They like to ruin whatever they're a part of and just, God, no consequences.
Yeah. And Morgan and Sophia, they're left to do all the dishes. Zach, he's part of the upper class. He leaves the upper class group to go and help with the dishes. This is a great episode for Zach all around.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
He's a good kid. Like, he's just like, he goes on. He went on the show with a task. You know, he's motivated. He wanted to prove himself. Like, Zach is kick ass. I love him. He's awesome.
Morgan should have got the gold star in the last episode, so Zach could have got it here.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mallory one was a mistake. I'm telling you.
I agree.
That was not right.
That was a bad call by the kids. Okay.
Bad
all right.
call.
So, time for another showdown. We see Jared meditate before the showdown to get into the Zen state to compete. And we're going to put together a steeple and then pull it up, yada, 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 whatever. It's going to be blue again. But it wasn't just Blaine and Greg this time.
Yeah, they had smart. It was a puzzle. So, they actually, I think Greg and Blaine weren't actually doing any favors, but yeah.
They helped with the rotating.
Yeah.
The manual work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Red comes in second place. Yellow is cooking again. And then green is again the laborer.
So this is something that I'm thinking about, is that if I'm in, if I'm in the blue class, or if I'm in any other class, and I win, and let's say if I'm, the Reds are second place, they're the merchants. Why don't they just switch with the yellow? Just be like, you know what? I'm not eating your crap this week. I need good food. Can we just switch this, because I don't want to do this another week.
Yeah. Anything to not have Taylor be in the kitchen.
Throw the challenge, something. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, there's no way I'd want them to be the cooks. I'd be like, do whatever you want. Be upper class. Don't do it. If you're not going to do anything anyway, you might as well just not do it. I'll do something. Also, what else are they doing? There's nothing to do in the city. They might as well cook or work the soda fountain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah.
They just don't want to see Taylor win. That's the thing. No one wants to see my girl Taylor win.
Well, don't give her the money that the upper class would get. You know what I mean? You still get the upper class money, but just have them not do anything. Just be look, I'll do your job, but you still get paid a nickel, and that's fine.
All right, so it's time to reveal the prizes for this round. Okay, everybody has done it. You get the surprise. Okay, kids, here is what you get. Do you want instant gratification or spiritual salvation?
They were all bad choices.
This is so bizarre. All right, kids, you could have this mini golf course or the collection of holy books. We've got the Bible, the Quran, the Talmud.
I would have said neither.
It's quite the moral dilemma, because I really think that 90% of these kids don't really care about the holy books at all, but they also know that their parents are watching. And so they're probably oh man, I'm so devout. Sorry, y'all, I gotta pick the holy books, even though they're not reading them. Who cares?
But also the golf course sucks. Mini golf course is a lame prize. Also, what do they need a mini golf course?
It's totally an optics thing. It's do we pick the fun game or these holy books, the holy scriptures? It's I guess I'll have to pick that. Oh God, it's all bad though. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Do you have anything else behind any of these boxes? Please, maybe it's some water pipe. You could re-offer me the water pipes that don't freeze. Maybe
that'd be good.
Something. So where would they install the golf course? That's what I'm confused about. Is that I think they should have called their bluff, been you know what, we're getting the golf course, and you guys are gonna have to put that. I don't understand where it would go. There was grass
it's
to
in
it.
the middle of town. Which, I do not want a mini golf course in the middle of town, in the center of town. No thanks. No.
So dumb. So dumb. Okay. And then the kids get the books and they're having to pretend the book of Genesis. Oh, okay.
Yeah, when Zach asks Mike to come help with the dishes, and Mike's I'm kind of in the middle of reading this Quran or whatever. It's He's like, but I guess I could put it down. It's like, I do not believe you for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I was really looking forward to reading that. Like, yeah, like, give me. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's talk about Cody. Cody is 9. He is sad. He is homesick because he has a letter from his girlfriend, and she wrote him a letter right before she left. Melissa, this relationship is pretty hot and heavy.
I honestly, like, I was telling Phil earlier, like, honestly, he's like holding this image, this picture of her, this little picture of her, and like a handwritten letter in her like curly Q script, as if he's like in a foxhole during World War II, like just like crying, like holding the letter close. It's like, oh my God, you're like in 3rd grade. Like, this kid, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. How pissed do you think Cody's parents were that his girlfriend sent him a letter? Because as soon as Cody saw a picture of his girl, he was out. He was like, I can't do this. I gotta go home.
He's like, screw 20,000. The love of my life is sitting there.
Melissa, I know you are so tapped into Kid Nation. Did Cody marry this woman from Kid Nation?
I do not know, and I wish I did, because that would be a great little bow on the end of this story. But I do not know. Cody has not done any interviews, at least not that I've seen, unfortunately. So
I think I read somewhere that they're not together anymore. Not together.
Could you imagine?
That was in the tabloids.
We were 2nd grade sweethearts. We went on to get married. Walked away from the opportunity of a lifetime on Kid Nation for her, but it was worth it.
God.
You know, I feel like if I was on Kid Nation, if I was Cody's age, I'd probably I'd realize quickly enough, like, I'm not going to be able to cut it. And I would have probably like made up some kind of like fake girlfriend or something like that. Oh, sorry guys, I got to go home. My girlfriend needs me. I don't know, something. Yeah. It was kind of a BS out, to be honest. Like, that's not, he didn't miss his parent. It was his girlfriend. It was total BS. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess what gives him more street cred to walk away from Kid Nation? That he missed his parents or he missed his girlfriend?
Oh, the street cred is the girlfriend thing. I mean, he's liked her since the 3rd grade.
I thought he's in 3rd grade.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He's like, I've liked her since 3rd grade. It's like, so this year?
Yeah. So, Phil, he has a friend named Campbell. And Campbell's like, all right, come on. We got to get your mind off this woman trouble. Come on. Let's go look at the cows. That'll do it.
It's a beautiful heart-to-heart moment. You know, he's like, listen, man, yeah, you don't need her. Like, you got us. You got the boys right here. And, you know, like, the thing is also, you know, Cody's just like, oh, man, I'm never going to see any of these people ever again. That's his dilemma. You know, it's his girlfriend versus the people he's never going to see ever again. Like, I'm so confused as to what he thinks is going to like happen after this. Are they going to shoot all the kids afterwards? Like what's that? Like, you're going to be able to see your friend. You're going to see Campbell. Like, calm down. It's okay.
I don't know. It's 2007. It's not like necessarily like you're going to jump on like FaceTime or Zoom.
Yeah.
You email him. Yeah.
Facebook.
I don't think these kids are on Facebook yet.
Eventually they will be.
But they don't know that. They don't know what's up.
They don't know that yet.
Yeah. All right. So we're going back to Taylor and the washing dishes thing. She's not here to cook or wash dishes. She's not going to do anything about it. Sophia and Morgan are going to go look for Taylor. They can't find her. They go to the saloon. She's doing shots at the saloon.
With her friends. I love how everyone is just like, they treat the saloon like it's like an adult saloon. Like, again, when Cody is like thinking about his girlfriend, he goes to the saloon and he's like, oh, give me another one. I'm having a rough day. Like,
when they find Taylor, they're like, you're just sitting here doing shots. Like, as if she's like super drunk.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, well, I'm just like knocking this one back. It's like, you should be working. You're throwing your life away.
Do they tell the kids like, hey, act like this is alcohol with the soda?
I think it's probably just like the idea of calling it the saloon, giving them teeny little shot glasses, like putting the soda in like bottles that look like beer bottles. Like, I'm sure that doesn't help.
Yeah.
But
probably would have been fun too.
Role playing.
Yeah.
Never seen anybody do a shot of soda.
I feel like it would hurt. Like it would be like very fizzy.
Rob, let's start next week. Yo, before we do the podcast,
let's do a power hour. Yeah.
Power hour.
All through the show.
Soda.
Yeah. Drink 9 sodas during the podcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But Melissa, that's what Brent does every Big Brother podcast, right?
That's true. He's got Brent's Coke count. So
yeah. All right.
that's his little icon on the LFC merch.
Yeah.
A soda.
So maybe how would Brent have been in Kid Nation?
Oh my God. Brad would be the one causing all the drama. He'd be the one stirring the pot. He'd be the one objecting at every meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, absolutely.
He would have gotten his own spin-off show. He would have been the greatest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would have been good.
He would have lobbied at every single thing of all right, who deserves the gold star? Like, guys, come on. Let's keep it real here. We all know I should have gotten the gold star this week.
Yeah, I keep it totally real.
Yeah.
I
Everybody's
keep it
tuning in to see me here in Bonanza City.
I'm good for the ratings.
He brings the veil out every time he doesn't get the gold star.
Yeah, he doesn't get the gold star. The veil comes down. You find him in the saloon, not doing dishes, just like Taylor.
The dishes are piling up then. So Zach is going to try to recruit everybody to go do the dishes. And every single person at first, Phil says no, but then Zach follows up with come on. We need you. Like, all right, fine.
It's a great approach.
That's the key. Like the second ask.
Because it's literally what else are you doing right now? Blaine did not know how to answer the question. Like he had to run away because he was just I have nothing else to do.
Zach chased him down.
Yeah. I mean, again, what do these kids have to do? Why not? But yeah, it ended up working out.
Yeah.
Zach is just such a great leader. Zach is just really good at, motivating these people. Come on, we need to eat. We need to cook. We need to clean these dishes, please. And
listen, it does make sense. If every kid washed 1 or 2 dishes, the whole thing would be done in 20 minutes.
Right. If everybody was just rinsed off their own dish. If you just gave everybody your own plate, okay, this is your plate and this is your fork and this is your spoon for the entirety of the time. So make sure it's clean. I feel like that's what they should have done. Okay, then the cooks only need to clean the things they cooked with and don't have to clean 40 dishes, that's the way to solve it. And okay, if a kid doesn't want to clean off their dish, okay, they eat off a dirty plate. That's their own fault.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
It's fine.
Everyone should have gotten their one and they just keep it and maintain it. That's a great idea. Oh man.
That's it.
Season 2.
Yeah, I would have. Look at this.
Take the spray paint that they wrote on the sheep and then spray paint everybody's dish. Okay.
I'm sure that won't be dangerous to eat.
Well, you do maybe spray paint the back. Okay. Day 13, it snowed, Phil.
And Jared's I'm gonna be a snowman. I don't know what did he say? I don't know if you guys remember.
He said he was gonna be a snowman. And Mike was I hate the snow.
What is this weather? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Goes from one to the next. Then you're gonna have a hurricane. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Earthquake next.
And these kids are just out there in the freezing cold. Yeah, some of the kids are jaded too. Some of the kids are I don't want the snow. What, aren't you 10? Isn't this fun for you guys?
In fairness, they live outside in Kid Nation.
Yeah. They don't have to shovel. There's no cars. Calm down, guys. Come on. Snow.
All right. We get into who should get the star. There's some momentum for Zach to get the star, but Taylor doesn't want Zach to get the star because Zach is really the person who makes her look bad by actually being the leader of the yellow team.
Yeah.
She's I don't really like him. Yeah. He's
doing your job.
Yeah. We go back to Morgan. She's stepping it up.
Morgan's killing it. Morgan is, one of the people who is good. There's some people that are just good at Kid Nation. What is that a talent? Just I'm good at, being able to survive. I don't know. Well, yeah, Morgan's one of those people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you could be good at Kid Nation. I think that's a thing. That could happen. Okay.
One of your life skills.
Yes. All right. Let's go to our council meeting. First, is there anybody that doesn't approve of the job that the leaders are doing? And guess what? Everybody says Taylor is bad.
It's a total Taylor just bash session. It's just like they're just totally going at her, and even Jonathan's like, Taylor, does this stuff get to you?
Oh yeah, listen, the Jonathan is very shady to Taylor here.
Taylor, you either have a really thick skin or you just don't listen. Doesn't it get to you?
A little, but not much.
So these are the two options. You either have a really thick skin or you just don't listen.
It's like, okay, that's it. Those are the options, huh?
Yeah. What does she say she's going to do? She's going to do something to Zach, right? And then they're like, hey, you're not allowed to punish us, Taylor.
Oh yeah, what did she say? It's like a famous line. What did she say?
Write it down. Dang.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know what she said.
Every single council is, well, Taylor, you don't do this. Like, well, I don't have to. Like, well, you do have to. Like, okay, fine, I'll do better next time.
They start to threaten her power a little bit, because at this point it kind of feels like there's like a downright like uprising beginning to happen. Like there's something where these kids are just totally riled up, and they're just not. It's going to be a certain point where they just can't take it anymore. But for right now, Taylor is she can do whatever she wants, and there's nothing that anybody can really do about it. Yeah.
All right. Does anybody want to go home from Kid Nation? We find out that Cody is going to raise his hand. He's crying. He says there's good reasons and bad reasons. He needs to see his family. But the bad reason is he's never going to see his friends here ever again. So they're going to call his parents to come pick him up.
I just wonder, because the girlfriend plot totally just came out of left field. I feel like we never really heard about Cody's girlfriend before this. Like, he's never talking about Cody, like his girlfriend, and then all of a sudden, 10 minutes before the episode, he's like, oh, my girlfriend, I got to go home. Like, I wonder if something else was happening. I wonder if there was some drama. I don't know, but I don't think Cody did that much press. So I have no idea.
We'll never know.
It just felt weird. That he just raised his hand and then he's out.
Gold star time, and Morgan is going to get the gold star. Morgan's family seems nice.
Yeah, they're just, again, they just act like they have a gun to their heads. Like, they're just like, oh. Oh, yes,
are you
good
okay?
Job,
yes.
I know what she said.
What'd she say?
She said that if he's not careful, he's going to be scrubbing toilets with the green team.
Oh, yes. She's going to demote him.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I remember now.
All
so
right.
good.
So
she's got a lot of liners.
She's the queen. All right.
She's the queen.
We got a lot of questions from the listeners of Rob Has a Podcast in our patron Facebook group. People want to know a few different things about Kid Nation, or a lot of fun facts. Jessica Frey wants to know, on a scale of 1 to Henry, how much do you hate 9-year-old Cody missing his girlfriend? I don't know if it's, to me, I'm not going to get on my soapbox about Cody, how could you quit Kid Nation? This was the opportunity of a lifetime. There's 39 kids. You don't want to be there. Don't be there.
We're not missing it.
At the time, I felt like they should not be quitting. Cody should not be quitting. Jimmy should not be quitting. That's lame. They have this opportunity. And now I still feel that way.
Really? You don't understand? From Jimmy, come on. Jimmy, day one, he was like, okay, I'm not ready for this. I'm not adult. I'm just not an adult. I am not doing this.
They wasted it. They should have stayed. They should have stuck it out. When I was at sleepaway camp, and I keep comparing this, it was really my only comparison that I can possibly make, where I was that age and I was far away from my parents for 4 weeks. I was so homesick the first day. I wrote them a letter and I let my tears drip down onto the paper and then pointed an arrow to it and said, this is my tear. And I told them how homesick I was. Now I wanted to go home. But guess what? I stuck it out and I stayed and I had an amazing fun time. And, that's what they should have done.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan should have just been Jonathan should have just been that if you quit this, right? When you're going to go home and everyone's going to watch this and you're going to just get bullied at school for the rest of your life.
All the kids are going to laugh at you.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Chris Snyder wants to know, is it common for 9-year-olds to have a girlfriend?
Not for me.
Whoa,
Yeah, no.
Melissa. You too, Phil?
I mean, I can't name names. I can't say anything. I don't know. No, it's not. I don't think it was common, at least not for me. Not any
That's
of my
like when
friends.
you first start having like crushes on people, but they're like secret crushes,
Boy.
and you're like, oh no, he looked at me. Not like I'm writing letters to my love.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have a girlfriend
Not
when I
like
was 19 years old.
Cody's got game.
Cody's the
I didn't
man.
remember when I was 19
Look at him.
either.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Okay. Emily Spireman wants to know, is there any chance that they are actually timing the challenges? There's no way they finished that sheep challenge in under 5 minutes, and every competition has supposedly finished with 15 seconds of the time limit. Too suspicious.
That's really what I think. Like, I talked about it last week about how I thought that was BS. And we're going to, again, like, not to spoil too much, but this is going to happen again, where it's always like a total buzzer beater. And I do think it's just like they added in the time in the edit afterwards. And they're just like, oh, look, you just made it. Because, we just want to see the dilemma. It always is a bummer when we don't see the dilemma. Although it's weird that it didn't happen with the water one in episode 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a situation where like there was no way they were going to like either install that giant slide and keep it maintained. And like that was also like a liability probably to have like that giant slide.
Yeah.
Like that unsupervised kids could just like slide down it. And also like maybe, I mean, like I don't know. I feel like those water pumps were just attached to like a barrel. Like, I don't know if that's like sanitary or like anything. Like, how do you ensure that they don't freeze when it's just like attached to a barrel? Like, maybe they didn't have the resources to like actually provide them with those prizes. And that's why they were like, sucks for you. It didn't work out. But like all the others, like, it comes down to the wire. Like, I could see a situation where like that was a situation where they did not have the ability to grant those prizes. And so they were like, let's just like pretend like they didn't make it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the post of Taylor's engagement that she says, said yes to my forever with my BFF, my hardworking farmer, my handyman, and my boothang.
Is it Greg?
Yeah. So there you go.
I got to see the man. Wait.
So
too bad it's a podcast.
Congratulations to Taylor on her recent engagement. Yeah, Melissa, she said like a castle or something.
Yeah.
Her kids, man.
I don't know.
Taylor's kids are going to be just like Taylor, and it's true. There's going to be like just like 3 little Taylor. Oh man. Good luck to them.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that either of you want to say about this batch of episodes?
Well, I guess I'm just curious to see, Rob, just what your overall thoughts of, the progression, because, you're watching this for the first time. Melissa and I have seen this before.
I love it. I love it, but I just can't believe that it happened. I still can't. I can't believe that at no point at any that this aired, that they did this. And I don't know what the producers are going to come up with next. It seems like they keep escalating. I kind of expect the next episode is going to be, all right, time, kids, for you to discuss where do babies come from. I don't know, like where they're escalating, and there's still 9 more episodes.
Yeah. I'm just imagining a situation where they're like, well, the reason that the original settlers didn't
procreate.
It didn't pan out for them was they didn't procreate.
Yeah.
You guys need to find a way to make sure that this line lives on.
Yeah.
And Kid Nation can survive.
Restart society.
I will say, because every week, like they're going to keep doing this. There's one episode that they shot that they did not air. And it was an episode about politics. It was like an episode about like Democrats and Republicans. And I guess it was just too controversial for them to air. At least that's what I read on the internet. But so we're not going to see that, but it's just like something, if people didn't know that, but we're still going to see just, a lot of interesting stuff that the producers throw at these poor kids.
Okay.
Also, don't you notice how like as the confessionals, like as the episodes go on and on, like they start having like wounds like on their faces.
Yeah, well, sometimes they have like such chapped lips. Yeah.
Chapped lips, like insane. Like they look like a mess. Like Taylor had a cut. Greg has like a chin scrape. Like Laurel's lips are just poor Laurel. It doesn't look good for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a wild show. I'm so happy that we are doing this, and I can't wait to see what comes up next time in episodes 5, 6, and 7. Melissa, will you continue to do the rewatch?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Okay. I'm very excited to listen next week. So thank you guys so much for having me on to talk about this show. I feel like I've had so many thoughts just like kept inside me for so long because nobody else I know knows this show at all. Okay. So it's been great to talk about it.
Well, Melissa, I hope you continue to fact check us every step of the way.
Oh, I will.
Please send me all the fact checks. And I'm sorry
Sophia
for spreading fake news
council.
Also.
I'll be like, excuse me. Get it right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Melissa, where can we keep up with what you're doing?
I am on all social media platforms under It's Melissa with 3 A's. And you can check me out there.
Melissa, what about your latest holiday video?
You can see that as well. It's on my YouTube, and I reposted it on Twitter and on Instagram. It's every year my brother and I, we make a music video like parody for my mom. And we've been doing it since I was like, I don't know, like 17, really, I guess. Like we've been doing it for so long. And so this is the newest edition. We finally decided to share it with the world. I don't know why, but we've never shared it before. Maybe we'll go back in the archives and find some other good ones and share them.
Now you're a big
you should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Now I'm a YouTuber. Who knows?
Melissa,
who knows what comes next?
Do you think that maybe your next drunk history could be talking about a particular event from Kid Nation?
It could be. I do a pretty good Taylor impression, so so everyone's just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, that would be good. You could have like the bandanas for like which person you're supposed to be,
and the confessionals. I would love it. That's actually a very good idea. Maybe I'll put that in the to-do list.
Okay. All right. Well, this was so great to have you here. It's Melissa, 3 A's, of course. Mm-hmm. Phil, this has been so fun. I can't wait to come back and do it again here next week with episodes 5, 6, and 7. Phil, where can people follow you?
So you can follow me on twitter.com at listenupphilip. And you can also follow me on letterboxd.com. My username is PNTJR. I'm always writing movie reviews and, TV show reviews. And I'm mostly spending a lot of time on there because I have no life. And
what did you review this week?
So I watched this movie. They made a live action Pinocchio film, actually. And I watched it. It was like, it's like the Italian version. It was like by an Italian filmmaker. And it's like kind of crazy and really messed up because it's like based off of the real Italian folklore. I don't recommend showing to your kids, but it was a really great movie. I highly recommend.
Sounds creepy.
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, yeah.
All right. And for me, we kicked off our Survivor all-time top 40 season rankings this week. We're talking about the 40th best season of Survivor. We talked about Island of the Idols. We had a great panel with myself, Chantel Francis, and Chappelle talked about the 40th best season of Survivor. If you haven't checked out what we're doing, it is so far a very fun series. Every week we'll be talking about the rankings of each season of Survivor. We'll go through one a week. Next week we'll talk about the 39th best season of Survivor. You can catch that every single week on RHAP as a podcast when you subscribe. RHAPisawebsite.com/iTunes. And for our patrons, we are going to start doing a weekly feedback show. We're going to be answering. We got over 300 questions about season 39 this week. I'll be answering those and any other questions that come in on our patron podcast feed at RHAPisawebsite.com/patron as a new weekly series for the patrons of RHAP as a podcast, plus weekly activities and much more at RHAPisawebsite.com/patron. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week to talk about episodes 5, 6, 7 of Kid Nation on the RHAP Rewind. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. Support for this podcast comes from Geico. Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I bet it can be hard work, but you know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. And it's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.